Hello, welcome along to West Hill Golf Club. Today we're, as part of a new video series, we're talking about some of the best clubs in 2017 and the things you need to consider if you're thinking about upgrading your clubs. And in this video we're going to talk about irons specifically, aren't we, Jed?
We are indeed.
Yeah. There are a few things you really need to consider. I think the first thing to think about is the lofts of irons today. They're definitely getting stronger, especially in the game improvement category.
Definitely.
I don't think you're going to necessarily notice a difference in ball flight. You're definitely going to notice an increase in distance, especially if your irons are a few years old. So that's the first thing to consider. Jed, anything else for golfers to think about?
Yeah, aesthetics is a key one. A lot of people look and like the look of what would be categorised as a good player's club.
Yeah.
So a forged club, a slightly smaller head, thinner top line. And I would say, try them.
Yeah.
When you go for your fitting, try the ones that you really like the look of, try the ones that you may be told will be best for you, and see which actually is best for you more than anything else. Don't be scared of trying a club thinking, well, I'm not quite good enough for that.
Definitely going with an open mind, I think.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
a fitting. I think with irons, golfers have an affiliation with one or two brands. I think they like the brand's iron range as a whole. Obviously, brands have different sizes of iron for different abilities and different types of players. So make sure if you like a brand, they'll have different irons that might, there's a few that might suit you. So try as many of different ones out as you can, and see which one really suits your eye and suits the ball flight that you're getting. Let's talk about the super game improvement category first, Jed. So the mid to high handicapper, what models are really standing out for you this year?
I think I've got one here, which is the Mizuno, the JPX 900. I've got the 4-iron here because it just shows how good the club looks aesthetically, but also the technology that's in there, how they've cut the back out.
The hot metal, right?
So the hot metal in here, they've pulled the weight away from the face, but then they've raised it so that they can create a really nice positioned CG forgiveness for your off-centre hits, which is, especially when it comes into the longer irons and the game improvement area, it's the off-centre hits which you want to try and keep the ball speed as high as possible, so your distances are as consistent as you can possibly get it.
Good. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I love that hot metal from Mizuno. I've got the TaylorMade M2 here. If you're looking for out-and-out distance and forgiveness, this is definitely one you should be trying. In 2017, it's got slots everywhere. We've got slots on the bottom, we've got slots on the face, catering for all the types of miss hit that you could possibly achieve on your iron shots. Obviously, the higher handicap you are, the more likely you're going to hit a miss hit. And TaylorMade really got you covered with this iron. I certainly noticed, it's a very loud, powerful feeling and sounding iron, but the distance consistency was surprisingly good for, you tend to associate big clubs with, hot shots and shots that go miles and things like that. But this one actually, because of all the slots technology you've got here, the distances are actually surprisingly long and consistently long as well. Yeah,
definitely. I think a couple of others in that category would probably run out. M1 is probably another one which is worth having a go at. Callaway Apex is another one in there, and one which is probably, I think, would cover the whole scope, would be the Cobra 1 length.
Interesting, yeah. Two different irons in the Cobra 1 length series. So you're talking about the King F7 iron.
Yeah.
What do you like about that then? It's a unique idea, isn't it?
It is a unique idea, and I think it's an idea which has been around for a long time. Obviously, with the sort of the rise of Bryson DeChambeau, it's more prominent now in everybody's sort of thinking. Yeah. But I think especially, it's one of those where everybody likes hitting 7-iron. When a beginner comes in, generally it's 7 or 8 iron which they're going to start to build their swing around. And having the length of the club, whether it be a 4-iron or pitching wedge at that length, is great to give somebody who's learning the game that consistency and posture and set of position. And it also then makes the longer clubs that little bit easier to hit, instills a little bit more confidence straight away. For the better player, the shorter irons at that length do take a little bit of getting used to. Yeah. But I do like the concept for it, and the fact that Cobra have come out and they've brought not just a better players club out, but they've brought 2 clubs out in the same sort of idea and the same concept.
Yeah, I definitely think it's something you should try. Don't dismiss it. I think without trying it is the one thing we'd take from this video. I think certainly in that the super game improvement category, you've got like your Ping G Max irons. I think are really good. You've got your Titleist 716 AP1s as well, which is slightly bordering on the mid handicap category, but a very forgiving, excellent all-round package as well. Let's move into the kind of the mid-handicap, kind of the mid-size type of iron, Jed. Any models that really stood out for you?
Yeah, I like the Callaway, the sort of the smaller headed Apex Pro, going into that sort of mid into lower handicap player. Obviously, one of the sort of the classic ones is the AP2, the Titleist. It is, you know, also a company who are synonymous in making great quality irons. Moving down that little step into AP2, again covers that mid-range, it covers the single figure. You know, there's a lot of tour players using them. There's a lot of guys do a little bit of mix the two, maybe AP2 in the longer irons and the CB or the bladed in the shorter irons, which again isn't the concept which people probably shy away from. A little bit more due to sort of trading values aren't the same, but as a benefit for the golfer and hitting individual shots with them, sometimes having some more forgiving longer clubs, and then the ones you really like, the short clubs, is more likely to go with.
Definitely, providing the lofts kind of tally up with that, you know, ability to mix and match. But obviously, a lot of sets from brands these days make sure they have the even gapping in the different models to make sure you can do that. So definitely something you should consider. I think for me, I think Ping G is definitely that crossover iron between those two handicap brackets. I think it's definitely an option that golfers are really going to enjoy. I've got the TaylorMade M1 here. You touched on it earlier. I think this is an all-round package that, like I said, with the face slots, I think it's a visible technology that really works in improving overall performance and consistency. Golfers are always banging on about they want more consistent golf shots. I think the face slots is a recipe for definitely hitting more consistent golf shots. Let's move on to the kind of better player category. Like you said, this is the category where golfers look down on these type of irons and think, wow, I'd love to use these, but don't dismiss them straight away, because they have a lot of forgiveness built into these clubs these days, don't they?
Definitely, you know, obviously if you get a bladed club, then it's set in stone, but the different types of the CB type of club, if you like, the slight muscle cavity, those type of clubs definitely don't shy away from them, because they are much more forgiving and much more playable across the board.
So I've got a couple here which really stood out for me this year. I've got the Ping iBlade. I actually switched out of these for the i200s recently. That's more down to me than the performance of the golf club. But this is as a better player club, it kind of offers everything that you want. It's not really a soft feeling iron, but it's definitely a surprisingly forgiving iron for the size. i200 is actually not too dissimilar to this. The reason I switched is because they actually perform very similar for me. The i200 is a little bit more forgiving, but the lofts are the same and the performance was very similar, so switched down to the i200s. But this is a very good club. The other one I really like is the Wilson FG Tour V6. Now, Wilson, known for their irons, their heritage in irons, but recently perhaps kind of fallen off the radar a little bit when it comes to irons. But these irons are fantastic. They look great. I mean, they just look absolutely fantastic from every angle.
And the throwback, aren't they? A classic throwback.
They are, and the performance was really good. You've got heel and toe tungsten weighting, so like I said, surprisingly forgiving for a club of this size. It's just a great all-round package, and it just looks great in the bag as well. My favourite
JPX 900 Tour.
A lot of tour players using these.
This is, you look at it now, more and more of them. You see them, like you go onto the different social media outlets, and there's photographs of what's in the tour players' bags and stuff. And there is more and more of the guys,
uncontracted players.
Just choosing them as the club that they like more than anything else. And again, this for me, I mean, I grew up with sort of some of the models of sort of TP9, TP11. TP19s, all that kind of Mizuno club. These are, for me, similar in their type of feel off the face, lovely soft forged steel, great classic look. And again, it's one of those where not quite the blade, so a little bit of weight proportioned around the head for that little bit of forgiveness on the off-centre hits, but a really nice looking playable iron. This was the one which is my favourite.
There you have it. So hopefully that video has been helpful for you narrowing down your search for your next set of irons. Don't forget to check out all the individual reviews of these clubs on our website and on Jed's YouTube channel as well. Hit the comment section down below and the like button. Tell us what you think. What irons are you using? Are you considering any of these models in 2017? But from us for now, it's thanks for watching and goodbye.